Developed by Hazelight Studios and published by EA, A Way Out was released on March 23, 2018 for Windows PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. For this review, I played it with my sister on an Xbox Series X. This has got to be the most unique game I have ever played. It was developed by Josef Fares, who is responsible for directing another unique game by the name of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which happens to be one of my favorite games of all time. So when I learned that A Way Out was made by some of the same people as Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, I was very excited to see what it had in store. What makes A Way Out the most unique game I have ever played is that you cannot play it in single player. The game is two-player co-op only. You cannot play it by yourself. I mean, you could if you played split screen and used two controllers, but that would defeat the point, and I don't recommend playing it that way. The game was definitely designed to be played in split screen with another player. There is an option to play online, but again, I wouldn't recommend it unless you absolutely have no one to play with in person. I have never seen a game before that requires co-op and cannot be played alone. However, because it was designed around being a co-op split screen experience, it makes the co-op far more immersive than any other co-op game I have ever played. I have never felt more camaraderie towards another player as I had playing A Way Out. The game starts out with you and the second player choosing which character you want to play as. The options are Leo Caruso, a 36-year-old man who is sentenced to 8 years in prison for armed robbery, assault, and grand theft, or Vincent Moretti, a 43-year-old man who is sentenced to 14 years in prison for fraud, embezzlement, and murder. I played as Vincent, and my sister played as Leo. The game is a story-driven puzzle game which relies heavily on cooperation and teamwork as Vincent and Leo try to break out of prison together. The puzzles are there more as just something to do as the story progresses. They are fairly easy, but still fun to try and figure out. As the game progresses, new gameplay elements and new puzzles are introduced, so the game doesn't get boring or repetitive. The story is okay. I was hoping it would be better than it actually ended up being, but overall it was still interesting enough to keep me invested until the end. I mean, it's no Shawshank Redemption, but it's still enjoyable. However, the ending was extremely disappointing. I'm not going to spoil anything, I was just hoping for a different outcome. There are actually multiple endings depending on certain decisions you and your partner make, but they were all unsatisfying. The direction the game took with the endings felt really forced and unnatural considering the events that took place earlier in the story. The overall presentation is good. The graphics aren't impressive, but they do the job and I think the game looks fine. Some of the co-op moments are really cool. For example, in the very beginning, Vincent and Leo get into a fight with some other inmates in the prison yard, and you take turns fighting as the perspective shifts between both players. The entire fight is just a quick-time event, which I'm usually not a fan of, but here it's done very well, and both my sister and I really enjoyed it. The music is very good, and sets the tone for the gameplay very well. If you are running away from someone or fighting them, the music is upbeat and intense. If you are hiding from someone, the music becomes quiet and suspenseful. It feels just like it would in a movie. Overall, both my sister and I enjoyed this game. It took us about 5.5 hours to complete, plus another hour or two of going back for all the achievements and trying out the multiple endings. There was a strong sense of camaraderie while playing together, unlike I have ever experienced in any other co-op game. More so than Army of Two, Halo, Left 4 Dead, and it was really cool to have that experience. However, once we beat the game and tried out all the different endings, there's really no reason to come back to it, and I don't see myself replaying it anytime soon. My overall score for A Way Out is a 7 out of 10. It's a fun experience, but one that you can only really have one time. The music is good, the graphics are decent, and the overall story is just okay. I had high hopes for this game when I heard it was made by some of the same people as Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, but I was a bit disappointed after playing it. Perhaps my expectations were just a bit too high. I'm not trying to bash the game. It is fun, and I do recommend it, but only if you have someone to play it with in couch co-op. I don't think playing it online would be as fun, and it would take away from that feeling of camaraderie. Anyways, that's it for the review. Thank you for watching. Moltok, out.
How hard can this be? Whoa! My back! Yeah, easier than I thought. Shit. All right, maybe not.